Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
Oh, we're on. The mood's great. Hey, how's your mood? Gits, you in a good mood?
Great mood.
Great.
In Canberra, it's getting nice and cold. I'm over the moon.
Test your character down there at this time of the year, doesn't it, Goy?
Yeah, it's a real character tester. You can find out who's soft and who's not in Canberra this time of year.
You still getting around in shorts, or have you gone to your leggings?
Singlet and Speedos.
Mate, you are hard. Well, you know what's even better for the mood? We're about to do a KOKO show.
Are we?
And here comes the intro.
Hey.
Everybody's favourite bit. Hello, welcome to the KOKO show, a show that has its finger on the ground and ear to the pulse of everything in the wacky world of rugby union. Today's show is balls to the wall, epic 15-a-side action. Listen to this impressive carte de jour. We've got Superb Rugby's penultimate round. WALLAROOS versus those crazy Canucks. The Black Ferns versus the USA. Swoop's old club Bordeaux winning the big one in Europe. And those bastards from Bath winning the best of the rest trophy. Congrats to them. Finally, to cap it all off, another genuine superstar of the code will stop by. It's the one and only King Carlos Spencer.
Oof. One of the absolute greats.
Big guest.
Who's responsible for this one? Hands up, please. Give us a shout.
Hey, all.
Have we had royalty on the pod before?
I don't think we have.
Other than you, Swoop, Earl of Shaftesbury and all.
The next Earl.
Earl of
Wow.
the Shaft.
This is exciting. How did you get the king on?
Well, just thinking about, obviously, he's moving to, I saw he's going to Ireland, where we did a live show.
Yeah, Terranure is signed.
Terranure, yeah. So he signed to go there. I'm also involved in a little whiskey project with him. So I reached out and I was like, I can't believe I never thought of it before. Like King Carlos, he's genuine superstar. When I first came through, he was the number one. Like he was the man.
Mate, this pod just goes from strength to strength. Do you reckon they're still talking about that live show we did at Terranure in Ireland?
definitely.
I reckon they're still talking about Swoop in the bathroom. Or actually, maybe that. Let
No,
me frame that
set it up,
differently.
yeah.
Yeah. He went to the bathroom still with his microphone. And so we could all hear what was going on outside in the show. And you're talking to some bloke having a look at the size of his jib.
Because you walked in and went, hello there, mate.
Yeah, what do you got there? Decent.
And the whole crowd were like, what the fuck is going on?
And then, was it that bloke that then walked out later on?
Yeah.
Because you came out and said, wait, you wait till you see him.
Yeah.
He was a wee fella, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a little fella.
Yeah, well, hopefully we go
Yeah,
back.
little fella. Swoop saw everything.
Hopefully we'll go back and do another one there. I forgot to intro these guys, by the way. Three of the old-time greats, Adam Asher, Kipper, Drew Mitchell, and Matt Giddo. Welcome, gents.
Didn't seem like there's much thought in that intro, but thanks.
No, well, it was meant to be a
That's good
part
to
of
be
the
here,
other
Bob.
stuff, and then we got chatting.
Yeah.
So good to have you in.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
good to have you here. And Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get straight into this because, as I said, it is a fully booked dance cup. What did we learn this weekend, gents? Can be anything. Can be rugby. Can be life. Can be the infinite struggle of man. Gits, do you want to go first here?
What did I learn? I reckon I'm getting pretty close to birds and the bees chat with my eldest.
Hey.
Yeah, things are moving along there. Won't elaborate any further because the big fella, his private stuff can stay private.
Yeah. If you need someone to talk to, Uncle Drew's here.
Yes. So if I was to go with anyone, it would be Drew, Prof, Tommy, anyone else that then comes through. Bailey's there today, so I'd go with Bailey. And then probably when he's about 21, Swoop.
Oh, ouch.
What would be the Swoop test? And we're just hypothesising here. What would be your first lesson to young Levi if you did get the chance?
Probably that first base is kissing and not anything else.
Uncle Swoop, go directly to second base. Do not pass first.
Yeah, look, I mean, we all start somewhere, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a genuine learning curve. But no, good luck to him. Look, I mean, if you get through those first 20 blokes and you still need someone, I'm at 21, I'll be there for him.
Yeah.
Uncle Swoop.
Beautiful. What a beautiful friendship. What did you learn from the weekend, Swoop?
It's just come to me
Oh, yeah.
right now
Good.
that you wear shit socks. Mate, have you seen these things?
How are they?
What are they?
They're Pokemon socks. I don't know if
But
we can
like,
zoom
are
in on
they,
these.
Prof, you're over 40.
Are they an anklet
Okay, I'm gonna
sock
make you
or are
feel
they
bad
just
now.
like are they your kids' socks?
They might be anklets, but for people with regular sized feet. Mine are a bit small. So maybe maybe they're down here. My son bought me these, Swoop.
Okay,
And
no,
he said to me, "You're the best dad in the world. Wear
Yeah.
these. Wear them on the TV."
okay,
Mate, he's taking the piss out of you.
yeah.
Oh, he's making you look like a fool.
You reckon he's laughing? Going, these are
He's-
Jolteon socks.
He's got you.
Maybe
He
just
is.
wear them with trousers then.
You reckon we don't have a big Pokemon like crossover with rugby union? Same people, mate.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's hope for him. Yeah, junior professor. He's got some. He's
and
got some
you?
gigs. I'll be moving on that quickly.
Go on, mate.
What did I learn? Or maybe just time your little walk. I went for a walk on the weekend, long walk, Bondi to South Coogee, and bumped into the WARATAHS rehab group.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the South Coogee stairs.
Ooh,
Maxie Jorgensen and Rob Leota, Piper Duck was there, Brianna Hoy. So the guys and girls, the injured group, and I got roped into mate, it's a trauma clinic. Like it honestly just triggers old memories. And
How
there
many
was
reps?
a couple of the boys walking up, like running up the stairs and vomiting into the gardens. I was like, don't worry, mate, I've been there before. Just keep going.
But did you do it with them?
I did 3 sets.
Oh,
yeah.
mate.
you touched the white fence at the
Touched
top.
the white fence, yeah, of course, all the way to the end. And then walk back to Bondi. 20 click.
Sorry, mate. How many reps?
I did 3 sets.
Did you jog?
I ran the full first one. Second one probably got 2/3 of the way.
Yeah.
And then the third set, I was like, okay, so I run the steps, walk the driveway, run the steps, walk the driveway. So I was working hard in the incline.
Nice.
Just walk.
How many flights of stairs is it to get to the white railing?
I don't know how many it is at the top, but it's
A lot?
it's like all very uneven and you can't get a rhythm or
Mate,
anything.
when you returned home, what was your calorie count at?
Oh, probably 1,500 burnt, but that was like 9:30 in the morning. It was a big day.
Money in the bank, son.
Hope you went out a big double bacon and egg roll just
No,
to.
can't, mate. I'm cutting.
Oh, sorry, you're shredding.
Yeah.
The stereo, I forgot. My learnings are.
Hysteria.
My learnings are. We can talk as much rugby as we want on this podcast. You can talk the lineouts and the rucks and the mauls and all that stuff. The audience don't give a shit. They just want to hear about Mad Monday stories. Because that Cliffy Parlu story from last week, which is a good story, which you blokes you've never told me. How many beers have we had out on nights?
Well, it's
Granted,
just-
I'm normally at a separate table.
No, but sometimes it just triggers. I remember, like, we're talking about. I think was it Todd? I was the coach of that First Nations and Pacific Island team. I'm like, Cliffy's a good option, and then it came up.
So
I did, however, sorry, I was just going to say I did reach out to Cliff to kind of
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get his
pre-warn him. Yeah,
approval?
I pre-warned him, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, it's fine."
it's all good.
Were you nervous?
And then he commented on it, going, "Oh, heavy hands, Mitchell." I said, "Well, we don't have to even the score, bro."
Go back and have a look at last week. It's a very good yarn. And that's why I was chatting to Gord earlier. I would like another Mad Monday story. So just save it because the Force, in theory, where you two played, should be on their Mad Monday today.
Yeah, but
correct?
I saw like Benny Donaldson put up something. He's travelling up to Monkey Mia. It's north of WA. So I don't think he's on a Mad Monday.
Oh.
Maybe they've delayed it. I don't know.
Maybe they did Mad Sunday.
I FaceTimed Kirtley last night.
Silly-
He wasn't going to
Silly
Monkey Mia.
Sunday, mate. Get it right. Silly
Sorry,
Sunday.
Silly Sunday.
In a Mad Monday.
Sorry. In what's Tuesday?
Tight ass Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Righto. Good. Let's see if we can get another Mad Monday story when we get through into the Force. Have a think.
Drew's got plenty.
You got from now until then, it's about 15, 20 minutes, I reckon. Let's do Rugby Roundup segment. Top takeaways. Did you blokes send them through to Tom on the WhatsApp? I
Yeah, we
silenced
sent
it.
a few through.
Did you? Let me have a look here. Drew, I'll go to you first. You're at the top of the list.
Prompt me.
Moana?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, like, big turnaround. I think that Chiefs team were absolutely on fire. Like, you know, when you sort of sit there and you talk about putting a complete 80 minutes together and, you know, like, that's just sort of what you thrive and try to achieve in every game. They were probably getting, like, that's the closest they could probably get to a complete 80 minutes. Like, everything was coming off. The speed of ruck was great. It was able to give them the platform. They were flattening up. Like, everything they were doing was top class. You know, and I guess the thing for them moving forward is to try and maintain that in the next few weeks because, well, we've got one more round and then we're into the finals. But they're hitting some form. I just thought off the high from the week before where Moana beat the Blues to then kind of, you know, just get done like they did. But maybe again, you know, we always thought you hear these sort of things a week out before the finals or something. Maybe it's the loss they needed to spark something in them again and turn it around this weekend because they've got a pretty big game this weekend. I think it's against the Canes, and they need to make sure they win that.
85-7. They went down to the Chiefs. Yeah, amazing to watch. Goit, your takeaway?
Well, it was the Chiefs. I thought Chiefs off the back of a bye, they came out firing. Unfortunately for Moana, they were on the receiving end, as Drew touched upon. I just reckon it's almost like Moana have had 2 or 3 grand finals in a row now, leading into that game, and just things didn't work for them early. They got behind the game, it got out of control, and it just became too hard to peg back. So my takeaway, obviously the Chiefs on fire. Looks like they're probably going to secure first place. I'm not sure if anyone picked that, but the other one was Sevu Reece. He's now the all-time leading try scorer on his own. So, and a pick and go.
Yeah,
Pick and
go,
go as
yeah.
well. Got him there, which I thought was strange.
And he kind of had to ask the ref, didn't he, to go upstairs?
It was
He
very
kinda
quick.
went- yeah, he's like,
See you later.
Yeah. Swoop?
Really enjoyed the Bombers' finish in the Waratahs at Super Point, and
Yeah,
also the way it kind of ended. Like there was a number of shots that could have won the game. KB's hit. Now I kind of wanted to ask Gitz this because he kind of hit it really well. He's 50. I mean, right on the sideline, 50 out. So it's probably a 57-metre kind of distance to kind of get it over the post. But it kind of started off with a nice little draw and then kind of faded early. Does ball flight change when it's raining, or is it just purely off strike? Because
Well, I mean, it may have a small, especially from that distance, all small things may have, may be a factor in the kick. I thought he hit it sweet.
yeah,
In fact, he hit it probably too sweet. You had that draw. So he started just inside that post, hit it well, and then it just drifted away.
drifted away early though, which was strange, and that's why I was kind of. It's something to do on the lift into the rain. Does it kind of change the
It
course?
might also just be
Yeah,
where the wind sits.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the ground level it's different to a little bit higher. Like, who knows? But
Mate, you talk about wind. What about the Highlanders couldn't buy a kick in Christchurch?
1 for 6,
Their
they
goal
went.
kick. Yeah, that cost them dearly
Terrible.
there.
well,
that was.
sorry, I was just going to go back to that Kirtley Force situation because later in the game they had a chance to win it, and it was about same sort of distance out. And Kirtley went over to the young replacement fly half and said, "Oh, you're right." And he's like, "Yeah, mate, I got this," and then drops it 15 metres short. But yeah, I just thought because of the way Kirtley hit that sweet one before, he slightly missed it, but the distance he certainly had. Maybe he also would have got a little bit of feedback from that first hit to maybe rectify it. But yeah, I thought it was strange that, like the senior boy go up there, he's proven that he's got the distance, and then the young fella goes, "No, I got this." Like, sometimes you just got to know your limits,
Yeah.
Segue
Yeah,
into
but when
the
you come in, especially if that's your role, it's almost like you feel as a young kid, yeah, that's my responsibility. Probably in his mind, he's saying, I don't want it. Please, KB, you take it. But you've got to show that you're ready for that moment, don't you? Like, there's got to be some type of.
Yeah, you do, and it's a learning experience too, right? It's a growth opportunity for him. You'd probably be better to speak on behalf of this, Gitz, is like, for all kickers, you've got to have that one early, right? To sharpen your focus and sharpen your prep around making sure you can take those moments, going back to process and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just reckon it'd be a big learning curve for him. He obviously didn't hit it sweet if it's falling so far short. Because when as a kicker, when you look up at the post, especially for long kicks, you kind of have a feel, if you could get it. So I think he obviously felt he could get it, but then just didn't hit it that sweet.
Can I do my takeaway on this game as well?
Sure.
The ill feeling towards each other between the Tars and the Force, has that always been there? Like, there was a lot of niggle. There was a few melees, a few fracases.
There's a few former Waratahs playing. For
Exactly,
the
and
Force,
Is that what
exactly
it
right.
was?
There's a few kind of former players from
Yeah.
each side, and it's just it's always a grudge match.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Can you? I mean,
The Lancaster, look, it was a great finish and whatever, but I don't know if it was as clear and obvious, was it?
Mate, it was like the angles. That's what I enjoyed about the process of the TMO and the conversations. Where it was on field, no try.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was clear and obvious to overturn.
The first angle didn't show clarity, but the last angle.
Because at one point the TMO even says there's separation.
But see, then
I just think there was enough doubt there. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm a Tar
But
as
also,
well.
the game isn't played in slow.
I know it's not.
slow-mo,
I know it's
you
not,
I don't
yeah.
understand why when they're going through the slow-mo process, and it's why they don't. Okay, they look at it and then they go back to actual when the speed of the game's played.
Yeah. Yeah. Carlo Tizzano scores another one.
Comes a record-breaking forward in
yeah.
Super Rugby, the highest in a
Most tries
season.
in a season, yeah.
And he's on top of the table.
I think it was Hoskins Tutu was the previous.
Yes,
holder,
yeah,
wasn't
that's
he?
right. Yeah. So he's on
Carlo,
13,
scoring
Carlo.
tries. And he's had a few injured games this year. So
Very good, Carlo. Hey, let me ask you boys about the Reds. That's another takeaway. Obviously, not that many weeks ago that they were on top of the table. They now slipped down to 5th, I believe. Yeah. So the Canes, losing to the Canes, they overtook them. What's happening to the Reds? Are they on the slide? Or, I mean, it was a tight match. Very tight, 31-27.
I don't know if they're on the slide. I mean, I think they've still got some good quality. What I will say about that game, Harry Wilson played a huge game for he's come back from his arm injury. I thought his impact was immense. I don't know. I think it's small little things. I think, making sure you maintain that momentum when you've got it, and also then sort of limit the damage when you sort of the times that you don't have it. And I think that's probably where they kind of got hurt a little bit over the weekend. I think it's fine margins for them. They're sitting in 5th. They're going to be playing in the finals. So this weekend for them is going to be really important, just to kind of play themselves in a bit of confidence going into the finals.
I just thought it was a complete performance from the Hurricanes. Like we said all along, this competition's very, very open. And you can't really predict. It's kind of like, you kind of mentioned that or stated that thinking that the Reds were favourites or supposed to win. But I think any team can win in this competition on the night. I just think they wanted it more. They executed Cam Roygaard was good. Billy Proctor at 13. He's
good, mate.
He's really good. He's probably been one of the best 13s in the competition this year, I reckon. But yeah, it's interesting. They're kind of hitting some form right at the pointy end.
Yeah, I've got this Irish guy that sits across the desk from me at work, and he just loves the All Blacks, and he's been banging on about Billy Proctor for the last couple of years. And it kind of pains me, but now I have to kind of pay him his dues a bit. His name's Harry Wood, so Harry, well done, but you've fucking been a bit of a thorn in my side last couple of years.
Tate McDermott's also, geez, he's looking good. Isn't he coming with this Lions period? Let's call that. Do you want to do sort of the finals machinations where people can sit, what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get through it quickly, because there's so many different sort of caveats and...
Well, is there a team where you'd like to know, an Aussie team, whether they've got any chance?
Well, it's the Tars.
Well, the Brums can still finish first.
You're kidding. Really?
No. I believe so. So if the Chiefs, let me get this right. This is for you, Goyd. I know you want to know.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs need to lose, and we beat Crusaders this week at home.
Yes, with a bonus point, I believe.
Yep.
So then they can jump over the top of them. For the Reds, they can finish 4th if they beat the Drua, and Moana beat the Canes, ideally with a bonus point. For the Waratahs, they've got to beat the Blues away in Auckland by any means necessary. Tommy, that sounds like, what, they're going to hurt them or what?
It's got to do whatever it takes.
Get it done.
Plus, they will also need the Hurricanes to defeat Moana Pacifica in Wellington. If this happens, the Tars can slip into 6th, and we will get a Waratahs semi, which is good.
Yeah. Right.
So there is a bit of hope still.
There's plenty to play out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think we've all been saying it. Like this season's Super Rugby
it's been
so good.
Yeah.
And I just think there's probably a couple of more surprises this weekend. Like if the year's anything to go by, a couple of close finishes that will have permutations to who finishes in the top 6. But what a season it's been so far.
As I said, Force, sadly, their season over, which, I mean, they were absolutely primed to have a big year. Remember, they beat the Brums very early. Only ended up winning 4 games. Where did it all go wrong for the Force, guys?
Well, I mean, the boys have already touched upon it. I just think they're fine margins. So you could just lose a couple of games by a few points, and all of a sudden you're out of it. This competition has been super tight. I think the Force, they got decimated a little bit with injury, as I think the Tars have as well. So I think there are excuses there, but I think Simon Cron as well, he's saying, we won't quit. We'll go out there, put our best performance for the last year. I mean, this is an exciting week. You would love to be playing finals, but knowing that you're not playing finals and your Mad Monday and the little moments you get to share as a team after a good performance is enough to drive you, I reckon, to put in a good win.
Do you have a Force Mad Monday story, as I sold at the top, Goit?
Mad Monday, not so much, but our last game for the Force, I think it was 2008, and the Brums came to Perth. I think Swoop even texted me, it could have been Wednesday, just saying, mate, we can't make the finals, let's just call the game off. Which we didn't do, but the game kicked off actually on captain's run. We were playing a game of touch. I think it was forwards versus backs. Is that right?
Yeah,
Drew?
It was pouring down rain, forwards versus backs in touch.
Yeah, and anyway, so Drew decides to get injured, I think proper syndesmosis. So in that game, he's now ruled out last minute. Texting Swoop that he's out. Swoop thinks I'm joking, playing a little bit of mind games. Turns out Bivvy didn't play. But the first half, for whatever reason, the Brums were on. They were hot. I think they were up maybe 19-0.
Yeah, you're right.
Heading
Yeah,
into
19-0.
half time. And we went into the change rooms, and John Mitchell, who was the coach at the time, I was talking with our backs coach, John Mulvihill. Mitch comes in, he says, Mulvis, let's go, get out. He said, what do you mean? He said, get out. They don't want to listen to our game plan. They know better. They don't want to do what we're telling them. We're not going to coach them. Let's just get out. They can work it out themselves. I said, Mulvis, you got to stay, mate, stay. I said, need you to stay. Anyway, he walked off, thinking, weak. So start talking with Nathan Sharp, because he was our captain at the time. And I said, Sharpie, what do you think? And he said, look, I think we should attack the game this way, play that way. And I said, well, from a back's point of view, I reckon there's space here, here, and there. Anyway, so we came up with a bit of a game plan, brought everyone in, went out, and we won the game. After, go back into the change rooms, Mitch, who knew I had the shits because he kind of abandoned us a little bit, came over and saddled up next to me and kind of elbowed me. He said, oh, as a coach, you can only do that once or twice a year, mate. Trying to take credit for it. Couldn't believe it.
And the irony,
the
irony of John Mitchell saying, "Oh, these guys know better." They fucking did know better. They proved in the second half.
Yeah, well, we started pretty well in the second half, and then from there, you just get confidence, you get a bit of momentum, and then we could bring it back. But yeah, I remember even meeting with Mitch like a week later. He said, mate, I know you had the shits with me about that stuff, blah, blah. I said, well, yeah, you kind of, like, we weren't going well. We're in a hole, and you've just deserted us. And then you come back and you're trying to claim it. Anyway, the last time I saw him, he was coaching Sale, and we were playing for too long. And we had a beer and we had a laugh about it. So it's all good and all fine. But that one wasn't so much a Mad Monday, but it led into a Mad Monday the next day when Drew's Superwoman, he's got a boot on his leg. We went as chicks.
Yeah, you were Madonna or something, were you?
No, Playboy Bunny.
Oh, Playboy Bunny, that's right. Yeah, Playboy Bunny. I was Wonder Woman with a moon boot on. I just took a hit up in the touch footy into David Pocock, Senator.
Oh.
And my foot got caught and full-blown syndesmosis. I was out. And I was so filthy because I thought, fuck, this is going to rule me out of Mad Monday.
Hey, Gits, have you ever, and don't take this the wrong way, have you ever, in your costumes, dressed as a male character?
No, I know that's where you're going with it.
Short answer is no.
It feels like you're more in theme. What have I done? Have I done a male Avatar? I did Avatar with Swoop in Vegas.
And you were a male
You were
Avatar?
more Zoe Saldana in that.
No, we weren't. That was when we were world champions, Swoop. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Any other world champions around here? Probably not. But no, I thought we rocked off for that. Who took the male and female role in the avatars? I thought I won. Actually, I thought you won and you still chose to go female.
No, I was definitely. Anyway, next costume I'm going as a bloke.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna, what's this?
I just want to go back to the avatars.
Oh, sorry.
It took me about a week to get my contacts out. They were
did you
stuck.
do avatar contacts?
Yeah, the proper avatar
Yeah, like
contacts.
are they yellow or?
No, they're like clear white.
Yeah.
The weird ones.
Mate,
But,
you're probably pretty dehydrated.
oh, mate, I had an eye infection for about 6 months.
We've got to put a photo up of that, Tommy.
Difficult.
Have you got a
But your
picture?
costume's
Because
done.
you're supposed
You
to.
look
Well,
good.
I've never worn contacts before in my life. So, one, I didn't know when you were supposed to take them out. Turns out the bus trip on the way back to LA is not the time, which is 3 or 4 days later. And then I didn't know how to get them out either. So I'm kind of just like trying to dig them
Yeah, and your hands would have been super clean.
super clean.
Oh, here's the boys. Is that you guys' avatar there?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just looking at it now on
Yeah,
Gits.
so myself, Gits, and Billy Meeks.
Okay, great. All right, we'll pop that up. People can have a look at that. If you're listening, go find it somewhere.
Can you zoom in?
Um,
Have a look at those contacts.
okay, while Tommy's working out how to.
Oi!
Oh,
see?
yeah. Now we've zoomed in. Oh, goodness me.
There he is, big fella.
Is that you?
That's Swoop.
Good
Yeah.
commitment.
Yep.
This is a costume. I like it.
Well, you got to commit, nothing to halves.
I think there's a whole episode of this podcast where you guys could just go through your Mad Monday costumes. There's got to be how many? 20, 30, 40?
Well, not 40, but yeah, 20 each.
No, but you played in 2 or 3 comps a year. Did you surely have one for the Wallabies?
No, you don't
Oh,
have
no,
a
no.
Monday Wallabies
That's
because
just-
everyone goes home to their states. And that.
Unbelievable.
You just have a court session.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sometimes you dress up in court.
Okay.
And yeah.
A lot of times you dress down.
Wallaroos, they took on Canada. We've got our guest coming in about 3 minutes. Canada, they put us to the sword, 45-7. It was a clinic from Canada. Big, strong side, rolling balls that would roll
they're the
for
second
30
best team in
metres.
the world
Yeah,
at the
they're
moment.
amazing.
Second best. I think that's probably the next area for this Wallaroos team is the contact area, like against even like the Black Ferns game, the US, like just the contact areas, the post contact meters they're giving up to the opposition and just that stuff around the breakdown. Like, and if they can just make small changes in that area, I think, because what they do off the back of that, like they're really good. Like they work hard for each other. Their skill set's fantastic. They run good lines, all of that. But I think just that key area of the contact area is probably where they can get the most growth.
I reckon also King Carlos, he'd be a good man to pick his brain around that as well, because he's obviously coached the Auckland Blues girls to 2 back-to-back titles. They played our winners, the Waratahs, just a week after the final, and they were able to put us away. And again, at that contact area, it just seemed like everyone's super aligned and knows how to build phases. So it just seemed that way, that they could just build the phases and know that they're putting on pressure. Whereas for us with the girls, that's probably something that we need to start to probably just get a little bit better at, cohesion, working as a team, and just understanding what they're trying to do.
Well, and Jo Yap announced just through the week that she's not going to re-sign as the Wallaroos head coach. So a family decision. They're going to move back to the UK after the Rugby World Cup later on this year. So I guess now the Rugby Australia are on the hunt for a new Wallaroos coach.
Well, you spoke about the Super W, the Kiwi women. The Black Ferns, they took on the USA and they won 79-14. Something pretty amazing. Only 4 of the Black Ferns scored tries. One of them was Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe, who obviously has just come out of retirement. She scored 7 tries in a match. If you have spare 5 minutes, just go on YouTube and watch this. It's unbelievable.
Surely that's a record.
Well,
it's got to be some kind of a record.
It's definitely a record. And you can see this post-game, she didn't even know what the records were. They'd allude to the fact that she was like a record breaker. She's like, what is it? She's just not aware of it. But so she came out of international retirement. So she played in the Super W at Aotearoa for the Blues. And obviously with the World Cup in a few months, has come back out. And geez, did she make a statement? Like right on that right wing. And then the wing on the other side is Vaakolo. She scored 4 tries. They've got some finishing weapons.
But for Portia, I was saying to you boys, every single try she had to work for. So it was bumping off 2 or 3 players every time.
Yeah.
It's quite a statement. And out of retirement.
Tom's saying all-time Black Ferns try scorer. Tom's forgotten again that he doesn't have a microphone. He's here every fucking week. Tommy?
Tom's also forgotten the rule that he shouldn't say anything.
You're not allowed to talk, Tom. No, you're not helping us. You're not. Now, Bailey, has our guest joined us? No, all good. Hey, let's keep going. Let's talk about champion sides. Swoop, you're wearing is that red wine colour?
It's burgundy.
Burgundy.
Yeah, well, mate, you tell me. But yeah, it's the boys got it done over Northampton on the weekend. And I'm pretty sure they're still going. Like some of the cut downs and the clips and the footage and the content that you see, it's just it's very heartwarming because you kind of know the progress, or I guess the succession of the Bordeaux Beg history. Starting out in Pro D2 and then obviously making their way up to the top car tours and then fighting the way from like a mid kind of table team to a very competitive team, and they finally got it done. I think for the last couple of years they've kind of bowed out early, either in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, but it's their first crack, and they did an extremely good job.
Bordeaux 28, Northampton 20. Couple of Aussies there as well. Adam Coleman and Pete Samu, who's about to head back. They become champions for UBB. Have you spoken to the boys? I
haven't spoken to them. I mean, a couple of the French boys I played with who were at the game with the team but not playing. I was in contact with them.
Ben Taumifuna there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was awesome. Like, I mean, I stayed up to watch it. It was a midnight kickoff here. It was incredible scenes. Like, it was a true kind of Champions Cup final. Just the intensity
Yeah, we know, mate.
Yeah, I know that
we
you guys know that it's played at, but it's it's just another
we know
level.
that intensity, mate.
It's another level of football that you just kind of love tuning into because every hit, it's a huge contact. It's intense. There's so much urgency about it, and then obviously the scenes post whistle. That's kind of gives you the bug. It reminds you of the reason why you played the game. Really,
There's some of the things that you miss, right? Like that sort of like that realization that we've just achieved something that we've been working so hard for, and you just like you run around grabbing each other, it's a celebration. It's massive.
It's something that because you look at blokes dancing in the change rooms, you lose yourself, right? It's almost like you show your true self, or the true inner child, or the true rugby player that comes out. Like you kind of, like all this kind of. I think
Tommy's just riding some vision
now.
Have a look at Damien Pinot at the end of this with his
kind of
snorkel.
champion Damien.
So this is the boy. If you're listening, it's the Bordeaux boys singing, celebrating.
Mate, that kid can play. Damien Pinot.
Oh, mate, unbelievable.
He is I know BRE's getting a lot of write-ups and rightfully so, but Damien Pinot, just he's class, that guy.
They do it well over there though. Like, look at the crowds. Every time, like even if it's normal rounds, your quarters, your semis, your finals, like it's packed.
Yeah.
That's what makes, I reckon, that competition so special. And like you say, Swoop, you do get out of yourself because you've just achieved something that's so big in front of huge crowds. Like it's a massive tournament. I'd say probably, do you reckon it's the pinnacle, Beef, for club?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
I reckon it's definitely the pinnacle for atmosphere and like energy, crowd energy, because Bordeaux, they play at Chaban de Mars, that kind of old school concrete. It's the longest walk from the change rooms to the field. I think it takes about 3.5 minutes.
It's a long way.
But they've got this moat around the field too. But it sits probably officially maybe 22,000, but there'd be 25,000 UBB fans there every game, every home game, regardless of weather conditions, how the game kind of turns out. They're just cheering the whole time, waving flags, blowing the kind of trumpet. Everyone's just so involved. They just love their team, and that's
There's
every
big
team
going on
front.
afterwards. Like with Henry Pollock doing the pulse check, like in the semi-final.
Like,
So he scored a try in the semi-final and was checking his pulse, right? It's just like, like ice in your veins, like that type of thing, right? Like, is this guy like is he human type thing? But it was fine to begin with, but like literally they just I thought they started flogging a dead horse. Like every bit of footage or photo or anything, even on the bus and the back into Bordeaux touring, they were all checked. Like I don't know, like it just was like, okay, guys, you've done it. Like unless you're checking your pulse because you've been partying so hard for the last couple of days, like move on.
Well, they grabbed him by the neck, right?
Yeah, there's a bit after the
and he
whistle.
wasn't happy. I mean,
There's probably a little bit of column A and column B from Henry Pollock and then the Bordeaux boys, but that's fine. Play
Just
on.
a bit of fun. Now, our guest he's joined us. He's listening right now. So we will touch on the Bath victory straight after, because obviously we got sent something very special from their main man. So we'll jump into that straight after. Please remind me. All right. Hey, our special guest, he's there. I don't know how much he was listening to us. Hopefully not too much. Carlos, thanks for joining us. Just as we begin here, it's kind of tradition on our show that we do a little intro for our guests. Our producer here, Tommy, likes to write them. So in advance, I always apologise because you never know what he's written. Could be quite loving or could be quite ridiculous. So here we go. Let me get into it. This week on the KOKO Show, we are joined by a former All Black great and a gent that put the spicy in "Fuck me, that All Blacks try was spicy." This fella has played over 40 tests for his country and has amassed over 350 international points whilst donning the All Black strip. However, he didn't just do a job and collect a paycheck. This bloke added a layer of flair and a dash of wow factor to everything he touched. Winning was something that came easy to this bloke, whether it be the blue for Auckland or the black for New Zealand. This little maestro got his grubby little paws on more silverware than Gits can do weighted muscle-ups. This bloke in his prime had a rig that every man and his dog could dig and an aged porn star handlebar mo that would make even the most mild-mannered spectator go. Here's the legend from Lavon who had a flick pass from heaven and a chin so sharp it could cut through the tough as Devon. Please welcome the one true king, Carlos James Spencer. Carlos.
Should we drop? Do we have to take? Do we have to drop to an E?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's fuck with introduction. How good?
First and foremost, how are you, Carlos? How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. No, Still above ground, mate, so can't complain.
And
You fellas all good?
Yeah, we're all good. Also above ground. It's been touch and go there a few times.
Just.
We're above. Mate, where are you now? Are you in New Zealand? Because I also saw that you've recently signed to go and coach over in Ireland as well.
Yeah, I have just recently signed a contract in Ireland, but I sort of move around quite a bit. I'm sort of in between Auckland and Cambridge at the moment, but I'm based in Cambridge, which is in the Waikato and Hamilton. And then I do a little bit of work, obviously my coaching in Auckland with the Blues Women's, and a little bit of other stuff as well. So in between both, really, Auckland and Cambridge. But yeah, our main home is in Cambridge.
And when do you head over to Ireland, Carlos? When do you take up that role?
I'm going to shoot over there in a few weeks, just for a bit of a recce. So me and my daughter are going to head over, and then I head over in probably at this stage trying to get over sort of end of August, first week of September. So I've got another couple of months just to poddle around and try and get shit sorted and whatnot. So yeah.
Before you came on, we were talking about the WALLAROOS girls, how they got dusted by Canada on the weekend. But you guys got the opportunity to play against our Super W winners, the WARATAHS, when you're with the Auckland girls. What is it that you reckon, like obviously I think there's something, we've got a talented group, but what is it you reckon that we're actually missing? Because obviously on the weekend, the Black Ferns, they got the job done against USA. It seems like the New Zealand women are just a step ahead of us at the moment.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Gits. You can't really put your finger on it. Look, I think a lot of it's time together. I think we're very lucky. Not only us as the Blues, but all our franchises. I think we are lucky in terms of we just have that natural ability and natural skill that probably some of the Wallaroos don't have. We have that physicality, which I think is important as well. But I think it's just time. Gets, we probably spend a little bit more time together as a group. But, in saying that, we'd like to spend more, obviously, and with it not being professional, that's hard. But yeah, it's a tough one. Unless I'm part of that environment, part of that culture, I can't really, put my thumb on it and tell you exactly what's wrong. But I just think physically and just that natural ability and skill set probably sets us apart at the moment.
Mate, you're saying you have to be part of that environment. We were just saying before you came on as well, Jo Yapps just said that she's not going to extend as a Wallaroos captain, coach. So maybe there's an opportunity. I know you signed in Terranure in Dublin, but there's a chance to coach the Wallaroos with throw your hat in the ring or what?
Oh, definitely. I love the women's space, mate. I've been involved in it for 3 years. And I actually found it hard to leave. I've got a special group of girls here, and I think just the energy they bring, and to be honest, bro, it's probably refreshed my coaching career. Being with the women, I've just really enjoyed it. And I never say never when it comes to opportunities, but right now I think the focus for me is obviously the job in Ireland. I've got an opportunity to jump in as a head coach, which I was never really keen to do. So I suppose going into that sort of semi-professional stage will give me an opportunity to obviously step into that head coach role without, I suppose, too much pressure.
You just alluded to the fact that you're passionate about the women's game. Is it the fact that there's huge growth opportunity, and where do you see yourself having the biggest influence on the women's game, or particular teams in the league?
I think it's just the coaching side, to be honest. I think the good thing about the girls is they bring their own identity in terms of the culture and the environment of the team. And that's one good thing about the girls. Yeah, they're different. They like to laugh. They're loud. But, that's the good thing about it. They're just so relaxed during the week. Probably some would argue they're too relaxed come game day. They're usually going up there and cuddling the opposition and laughing with the opposition, which, gets the back of my hairs on my neck up a bit. But hey, that's just the way they do things. And For girls, they just like feeling good to be able to play good, and that's the thing I like about the women's rugby. Very, very coachable,
I'll add a second part to that question. Where do you think you contribute most? Like, what, I guess, part of yourself or your playing experience or coaching experience has the biggest influence on the girls? Is there one part of what made you a great rugby player that you can see being kind of transferred over to the women's game, where you're seeing growth and development?
It's just the way I played and the way I think about the game. I like to play an exciting brand of rugby, which I try and implement with the Blues girls. I like to give them freedom to play. I like them to express themselves and be ambitious. I suppose that's one thing I bring to the women's game, is just that ability to, back themselves and take risks. I'll never have a shot at girls for taking risks and making mistakes, but I will have a shot at them if they don't take the opportunity when opportunity is staring them in the eyes. I suppose that's one thing I do bring, is just that enjoyment to really go out there and express themselves and go and have fun.
You spoke about expressing yourself. You're always someone that I admire, because it looked like you play with no fear. Like, it was almost like you didn't care about making a mistake, and you're willing to try things that maybe you'd not even tried before on a football field. Like, where did that come from? Where did you learn all that instinctive, just, to play with that flair? Like, was that from touch, or you've just always had it?
Yeah, mate, I think it's just the way I grew up. I was, I grew up with a rugby ball as soon as I could walk, and mate, we used to, every day after school, we just it was either at the park or just on the road, and mate, we're just cheeky little bogey-nosed kids growing up, trying to throw hands at the back, backhanders and stuff like that. So I just grew up with it. I had mates that were doing the same. And it was just the environment I grew up, to be honest, Kits. And, it was a little bit of arrogance, but it was, also knowing what I could do, and I just wanted to express that on the pitch. I got a lot of grief for times when it didn't go wrong, but that didn't bother me. I took it on the chin, and I just knew that was part of it. If you were willing to take risks and play with no fear, you've got to take a little bit of shit with it. And I took my fair bit of shit, but it didn't change the way I played and how I felt about the game.
Yeah, well, randomly today, a little clip came across on Instagram, and it was, I'm sure you've spoken about this to death, but 2004, when you played the Crusaders, and you boys were down by, what was it, a couple of points, 3 points or something like that? Where you played from your in goal. So you're on your try line, you played from your in goal. They end up going the length. Anyway, for Prof, who doesn't watch a great deal of rugby, he does now, but he's previously leaguey. King Carlos got the ball. He could have put the ball under the post, but instead, against the Crusaders, because they had a huge rivalry, he ran to the far right touchline, put it right on the corner, just to make the conversion harder, knocks the kick over, and they win by 2.
Yeah, I know, and it gets brought up all the time, and I don't think we were losing. I think we might have been 1 point ahead, and I honestly, I don't know what was going through my head at the time. It was a scrum, I got the ball, and I just, for some reason, I just saw a little bit of space on the edge, and I just probably, mate, to be honest, it was just a Hail Mary. Yeah. Rainbow pass that just missed the post, and we managed to find a little bit of space, and I suppose the rest is history. And I could have scored it under the post, but it was all about wasting time. I knew the time was almost up.
That's what it was.
So it was really just, it wasn't it's the Crusaders, I'm going to rub it in and fucking score it in the corner. It was just merely just to waste time, to waste that extra 10, 15 seconds to walk it to the corner, because I knew once I sort of did the goal kick, it was going to be full time. I wasn't even worried about the conversion, to be honest. I knew we'd pretty much won the game, but the thing was that the conversion took away the bonus point as well. Which fucking was even worse for them. So it's just like one of those moments that you will pop up every year, and over here, it sort of pops up. When the Blues play the Crusaders, it's one of those highlight clips that sort of comes up. So yeah.
Carlos, as you realise, these blokes are pretty relentless on me. They hammer me all the time. You played against them a lot. Were they as lippy on the field as they are in this studio?
No, they're probably two of the quietest blokes, to be honest.
What about Gets?
Yeah. Oh,
mate, I was quiet. I was petrified of him.
Gets just got on with his work.
Yeah.
And did his magic and
Mate,
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Yeah,
What I do want to ask, about, you play with so many like naturally gifted guns, but I remember when I first came into Super Rugby, that Blues team you had was incredibly stacked. And on the edge, you had Rupeni Caucaunibuca.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good stories about him. Like he was easily, well, I wouldn't say easily, but he would be probably the most naturally gifted that I played against. I felt like with the ball in hand trying to defend him. But we've heard rumours back here that he would be late to training, almost to the point where the Blues rented him an apartment across the road, and he was still late to training. Like, was this bloke just unbelievably gifted and just relied on his natural talent so much?
He was exactly that. He was a freak. And every now and then you just get one of those blokes that turn up. We knew nothing about Rubes when he first turned up. Didn't know who he was. But yeah, what a freak! Just natural talent, just the ability to step and keep his speed, and then his power and strength, and just his outright skill set was amazing as well. And it's funny you say he took a bit of looking after. We ended up having to put a minder on him 24/7. After about the first sort of 3 months, like you said, he turned up late most mornings. So we had to, or the management had to put a pretty much 24/7 minder on him, pick them up, drop them off, just to make sure that he was on time. Didn't say anything at training, hardly spoke a word. Half the time you wondered whether he knew what the move was. Hardly could speak a word of English. But yeah, just that ability, man, just to turn up, at the right spot at the right time. And just, one of those blokes like Jonah, you just got to give him the ball and let him do his thing and fuck support, be either on the inside or outside, because if he's not scoring, then someone else is,
Yeah, I mean, we do this thing on the pod where I'm going to pick 3 players. You've got to start one, bench one, and drop one. You've played with some pretty amazing finishes, so we'll go with that. With that, you've mentioned Jonah Lomu being one of them, Rupeni Caucaunibuca, and also Joe Rokethoko. So you've got to start one, bench one, drop one.
I
know it's tough.
You've got to be in a bad spot here, bro.
No.
You've got him in a bind.
That's tough. That is tough. A lot of it will come down to who we're playing.
We'll tell you that afterwards.
Okay. I'm going to say I'm going to start Rupeni.
Yeah.
Just because, just naturally gifted. He's good both with the ball and without ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to bench Rocks, unfortunately, and that's tough. And then obviously Jonah off the bench. Roops does his thing for 40, 50 minutes, and then bring someone like Jonah off the bench, his impact. So unfortunately, Rocks, mate. Sorry, buddy.
Carlos,
Tough choice.
we do the same thing here where we get the guests to reverse it using these 3 blokes. So start one, bench one, drop one for Matt Giddo, Drew Mitchell, and Adam Ashley Cooper.
Oh. I'm starting Gets.
Thank you.
Oh, fuck. Oh man, I don't know. Between the other two, I don't know. Like, because I can see Ash, I'm bringing Ash off the bench.
Oh,
That's all right.
Thanks, King.
Drew. What I want to ask.
Sorry, Drew, mate.
No, you're right. That's fine. It's fine.
There you go. I can see you now.
No, I don't want to play for you.
Covered up by faces.
Who would you say, Loss, would be your biggest rival, like in Australia when you're playing? It would be Stephen Larkham, because the reason I ask that is every time you blokes would be getting into a fight, like or pushing or wrestling on the ground, and I'd say to Bernie, like I say, mate, please, like I don't want him sending people down our channel. Like, can you just calm down and let it go? But you guys seem to always just get into fights.
Yeah, definitely Larks. And it was probably just that respect thing, I think, and that competitiveness. You know, I had a lot of respect for Larks, and mate, he was, you know, just one of those naturally gifted players again. And every time he just had an opportunity to, you know, put a shot on, or I can, you know, give him a bit of a dig. You know, I just wanted to do that, and that's just purely out of respect for him, you know, and just goes to show what a great player he was. Because, you know, the players I had no respect for or didn't think were such great players, I didn't worry about, you know, and obviously Larks was one of those players, and anything to try and get under his skin, or, you know, any opportunity I had to sort of put a shoulder in or a late tackle or say something to him, you know, I would. And that was just purely out of respect for him, really. But yeah, we had our rivalries back in those days, and, you know, we probably ended up over the one of those boards a couple of times. I don't think we actually threw a punch at each other. It was more fucking handbag stuff, bro, to be honest. So, yeah.
Mate, with some of the footage I've seen, you know, your post-retirement, you got into a bit of boxing, you would have absolutely bagged Bernie Larkham in a fight. Like, what made you get into boxing?
Oh, mate, I've always been into it, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, sort of hitting pads and hitting boxing bags. I grew up watching boxing. I love my boxing, and it was just an opportunity one day when I sort of retired. I was got back into training, and an opportunity came up to fight, and me just being competitive and always after a challenge. Yep, I'm in. So I sort of got my first one under my belt and just got the taste for it, really. And yeah, just carried on for sort of 3 or 4 years after, and had a few more. But yeah, I just absolutely love my boxing.
Who out of these three blokes would be the easiest to knock out, Carlos? Do you reckon?
I reckon every one of us.
I'm not answering that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You won 3 Super Rugby titles, as we all know. Big season for the Australian teams this year. We've been watching them closely. It's been a great season. Now, winning percentages are up. Can you look forward a touch? Tell us, you know, who's going to be in the final, who's going to win the whole thing?
Shit. Oh, man, the Chiefs at the moment, especially after the weekend. Yeah, they just far out. They just everything, you know, they did just sort of turn to gold for them. Yeah, Moana went great. But still, you know, they look really good. I thought the Crusaders, up until about a couple of weeks ago, were you know, going to be in the final. I'm not too sure now after the last couple of weeks. I think they really miss Will Jordan at the back. I haven't seen much of the Brumbies lately, so I'm not sure what they're looking like. But obviously they're up the top there, and you know they'll definitely be top 4. I'm assuming. I was liking the Reds early on. I thought they looked really good. They've sort of fallen away the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll be there. Yeah, it's Chiefs for me right now.
Yeah.
To be honest, they're going to be hard to beat. Right now, I'm going to probably see them finishing on top, unless something happens this week. I think they've got the Brumbies this week. Is that right? Who they got this week?
Crusaders have Brumbies.
They got the Crusaders. So there you go. That's going to be a massive match, you know. So whoever wins that's going to finish on top. So home advantage is massive. But yeah, right now for me, the Chiefs look pretty good.
So Chiefs have got Highlanders, and then
Brumbies, Crusaders.
Yeah, Brumbies, Crusaders.
So I can see the Chiefs getting over the
Yeah.
Highlanders. the Highlanders will chuck everything at them and, cause them a little bit of trouble here and there. But I just think right now the Chiefs, shit, they're looking good.
The other big one that we're looking forward to in Australia is obviously the Lions tour. In 05, you got to play against the Lions for the New Zealand Maori. I'm just wondering, have you got a bit of a prediction? Do you give the Aussies any hope against the Lions?
Yeah, of course you do, and I think what they've shown over Super Rugby and where they are in terms of a couple of their teams, I just think, yeah, definitely give them a chance. It won't be easy. I haven't seen the Lions team and the team that they're bringing over, but I'm assuming it'll be very strong. But yeah, you always, never came out a Wallabies team, and obviously with Joe Smith in there, saw good signs of them improving last year. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, and yeah, I'm going to look forward to seeing how that pans out.
Carlos, you were a lot of players' favourite player. I've got two questions. Who was your favourite player growing up, but also who was your favourite player to play with when you're playing professionally?
Favourite player growing up was Bernie Fraser. Not too sure why. He was just someone I admired, and he played for Wellington. I grew up close to Wellington. Winger, scored lots of tries. Had a corner named after him called Bernie's Corner, that old athletic park there, and maybe that was why I admired him and really liked him as a youngster growing up. Shit, man, to put one or name one player that I enjoyed playing with is, I've been asked this question many a times, and man, I struggle to pick just one. I come through a couple of eras where I played with some pretty special players. So it's a tough one for me, bro, to be honest, and I've never been able to answer it because.
Could I frame it differently? Give us your Mount Rushmore so you can pick four.
Still, it's tough.
Still tough.
If I go back to my early days, if I go back to my early days when I first sort of come on the scene, mate, I love playing with Zinzan Brook. Just to, back in those days, to have a number 8 like that, who was just naturally gifted once again and would try stuff out of the box. I just love that. I love that about a number 8, and just when I first arrived in the Auckland team and being around him and just seeing the way he prepared and once again wasn't afraid to try things. He'd be one of them. Rupeni, once again, just having him. This is once again tough. They're all going to be obviously Blues players. Doug Hallett.
Oh yeah, Doug, yeah.
Very special. Man, he was one player who just gave me so many options, gave me a voice, made me look good so many times just through his voice and him working off the ball and just giving me options. So he's definitely one. And I'm going to have to say Sammy Tutupo.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Hey, I was just about to say, my next question was going to be, was there a bigger hitter than Sammy Tuitupa? I had nightmares about getting ready to play that guy early.
But it wasn't only that, it was just the ability to get you over the advantage line when you needed him, and having him around me when I just needed someone to be real mongrel and carry. And, mate, he was my go-to. He just gave me that fucking 1 and 2 cut, over the advantage line. Fucking just a back door, him short ball, front door, just over the advantage line. And then when it come to his D, like you said, nothing was coming through that channel. He just so dominant physically. But yeah, just having him outside me for a couple of years was huge.
King, were you ringside when he knocked out Roy Asatasi?
No, I wasn't actually, but I did watch that live, and I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming, to be honest. I think that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
I never saw Sammy as a bit of a fighter, but he was. I think he was a bit lucky. He just caught him one on the chin. But yeah, it would have been nice to see that go a little bit longer. Actually, I think it would have been a good fight. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, well, Semi was the guy that I replaced just for that game in tens. You remember when we were
in Dubai?
Fellas?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
he was talking to me, and it was almost like he wanted to play. And I'd seen him in that fight knock out Roy, so I'm thinking, mate, whatever you want to do, you can play. Like, but he was sweet. He was fine. I think his knee's starting to give him some trouble, so he was happy for me to play.
Yeah.
King, that's it. You've done your time on the KOKO
Yeah,
show.
thank you, mate.
Awesome.
What a wonderful chat. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And good luck in Ireland.
Hey, one question: where's the KOKO come from? What's that mean?
Oh, it's kick-offs and then kick on. So we kick off the game and then we kick on afterwards. So shortens to KOKO.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very good. Good luck in Ireland.
All good, boys.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
King.
Cheers, King.
That's one of the best chats we've ever had. Gents,
Yeah, it
well
was
done.
great.
You love that.
Fantastic. Oh,
Good on you, Prof.
I bloody loved it.
Happy for you, mate.
You know what?
Mate,
There's weeks
I
where you-
really enjoyed it. I wanted
Yeah.
to just keep going. When you said time's up, I'm like, oh,
Yes, we have other rugby news right now. We gave this one to you, Drew. You insisted on covering Bath versus Lyon. You messaged me and you said, this is the tournament I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And then because you sent a group on the WhatsApp, what did you?
Yeah, no, I said, yeah, it's great. No, I mean, it was a great performance by Bath. Finn Russell's just in some form, right? I mean, it's a good time for him to be in form, not so much for us as Wallaby fans, for him to come down with the Lions. But I think it's been a decade since the last time he won a trophy. Now he's won the Challenge Cup over the weekend, just pretty dominant against Lyon. And Beef, I think you were chatting with Finn in his celebrations, weren't you?
yeah. Well, Drew, who's always thinking about the pod, like he's a good fella. He's like, oh, look, last time I messaged Finn, I stayed in his requests. Did you, because when I got Finn on the show, messaging him. So he said, can you reach out and just see if he'll scull out of the cup and, thank KOKO for his success. So I messaged it to him and he was more than happy to oblige. But he said that trophy, we didn't know because we always had the big one that you could fill with drinks. But that little trophy didn't have a space where you could put drinks. So anyway, he sent us, I think he was on the bourbon and cokes by the time he sent me a bit of a skull and thanked the boys for all the support.
Here he is,
That was it there.
straight down the hatch. Jeez, it took him a little while to get through it.
Yeah, I don't think that was his first drink for the night.
And I don't reckon it was his last either.
I reckon we'll get Finn on when he's down for the Lions.
Yeah,
I've got
for
a
sure,
feeling.
in the studio.
Yeah.
Probably, hopefully the night before a test.
Perfect. All right, congrats to Finn and Bath. Other rugby news. I'm just conscious of the time here. Let me have a look here if there's anything we need to report. There's this Rugby Club World Cup, which you guys were talking about how winning in Europe's the biggest thing. They're now talking about 16 clubs from around the world. Europe, South Africa, the Southern Hemisphere, and possibly Japan will all compete to see who is the best club in the world. Would that then surpass that European Cup, do you think? Or
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess in some ways, right? Because it's the best clubs from all around the world, not just in Europe. But I think it's proposed. I've got it here. So 16 teams, 8 teams from the Champions Cup.
Yep.
Which includes obviously URC, Premiership, French, top 14.
Yep.
And then 8 teams from Super Rugby. Oh, sorry, 6 from
and
Super
then
Rugby,
2
and
from
then
Japan.
there's 2. Well, 1 from Japan and perhaps another one. So it could be a states team or someone outside of that. So, I mean, that's what's proposed at the moment, and to be played at the best stadiums around Europe. I think the first iteration of the championship. So I think it's also just about the rugby game, coming up with new concepts and new ways to engage new fans and
think
also
it's
just
great.
the best of the best, basically. Champ of the champs.
I was just thinking 2028, that might be a good rule for us. We'd find a way to get to Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you reckon,
Do we have
Swoop?
to? Do we have to? Hey, just going back a little bit, you mentioned that Nardi's through to the final, the top league. Who's playing? So it's
I
Kubota.
reckon they'd be playing Toshiba.
Yeah, are they the Brave
Richard.
Loopers?
Yeah, Richie
Yeah,
Moanga, Michael Leach. Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, I saw some footage on the weekend. Richie Moanga got the ball just outside his own 22, pumped it down the right-hand side of the field, 50-22 he got because it went into touch 5 metres short of the try line.
wow.
You know, there's levels. Here's the footage here. Look, just outside the 22, and just gets the bounce, keeps rolling, 5 metres out, they get the line out.
Bit of a right-hand turn there.
You know, and
That's
you look
amazing.
at probably a bit of uncertainty around who's going to play 10 for the All Blacks. Is it Bowden? Is it Damien McKenzie? You know, is it one of these young guys coming through? Like the best player, best New Zealand number 10 is playing in Japan.
Right, Jed, so I'm conscious of time. We are officially out of it, but one thing we have to do is we've got to name our next 4 Lion Tamers.
Ooh,
Tommy,
yes.
if you could bring them in, obviously, for
Second
those of you
rowers.
that have been playing along, we named our Lion squad. Now we're naming the Lion Tamers. Currently, we have Angus Bell, Alan Alatoa, James Slipper, Tom Robertson, Tanya Latupo, Dave Parecki, Matty Fessler, and Billy Pollard on there. Gents, sorry, what are we doing? Second rowers?
Second rowers, yeah. The locks.
Can I? Shall I? Oh,
You go.
we lost Skits. I'll go. Nick Frost.
Nick Frost.
Congratulations, Frosty. If you guys are in agreement.
Yeah. Mate, it's your pick.
Thank you. Nick Frost.
I'm not going to take it off you. Don't disagree with it either.
Thank you.
I'm going to go Jeremy Williams.
Very good.
Who you got, Goit? Second rower.
I'm going to go with Lucan. I just reckon off the bench, bringing a bit of physicality. I just think that size and intimidation would be nice off the pine for us. And Prof, that's back-to-back weeks. You've gone first and you've chosen Brumbies.
I love the Brumbies, mate.
Yeah, okay.
No, big Brumbies fan. Also, I try to jump in first because mine's always the most obvious. And then that way I'm not fourth and looking around for one. Swoop, microphone.
Darcy Swain.
Nice.
He's been pretty dominant all year.
I tell you what, they've been really strong at the Western Forces at line-out time. Like picking apart the opposition, like defensive line-out, picking apart the opposition's line-out. They've been really good at that.
Tars couldn't get one in the first half.
Yeah, like Darcy's big, he's got a big influence in that, calling and all the rest of it. So
I think that, it's the best season that he's had with the Force. He's gone. I think Simon Cron's had a huge influence on his game.
How many second rowers? Will we need more second rowers next week, or is that
potentially? We'll have a look at the squad and get back.
Well, maybe we could get back rowers that can play.
Yeah, well, there's the Tom Hoopers of the world.
It's a good shout.
Josh Canham's another one that could be in there who can play both. But we'll get to that. Guys.
God, it's exciting. It's very exciting. Tom's coming back in. Obviously, broken 2 rules today. He spoke and he was on camera. So. Unbelievable. Hey, Jess, that is the show. Another cracking episode.
Already?
Went quick. You can find us at Kickoffs and Kick-Ons. Make sure you have a look. A few things that are coming up. Tell your friends, tell your family. There's going to be some live shows. There's going to be some merch. There's going to be anything else happening, guys?
Oh, there's plenty in the works.
Yeah.
We've just got to be able to execute a few.
Yeah, that's okay. I know. I'm just tossing it up. That's fine. Lots to talk about. All right. Hey, all that's left to do. KOKO! There we go.
Still in the chamber, that one.
What was that, Gits? What was that?
A bit mama.
Mama.
Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.